Welcome to the Explainer.
You see headlines like this pop up on your screen all the time, right? They're just jam-packed with these really specific, heavy words, and honestly, it can feel like you need some kind of special decoder just to figure out what's really going on. Well, today, that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to treat this headline like a puzzle, take it apart piece by piece, and see the full picture that's hiding in plain sight.
So, where do we start? First up, the actors and the tool. You know, in any story, you've got to know who is involved and what they're bringing to the table. Let's dive into those first few words.
Right off the bat, we see the actors, US and Israeli. Now, putting them together like this isn't an accident. It's a really deliberate choice. It signals more than just a list of countries. It's meant to imply a partnership, a coordinated effort. This is the language of an alliance.
And in a military context, an alliance is a really powerful statement. It means countries are pooling their resources, whether that's intelligence or actual firepower, for a common goal. So before we even get to the action, the headline has already told us that this isn't some solo mission. It's a joint operation.
Next up, the headline gets incredibly specific. It doesn't just say planes or aircraft. No, it says F-15 fighter jets, and that is a huge clue. The specific tool being used tells us a story about the kind of job they're actually trying to do.
So the F-15, yeah, it's a serious piece of hardware. It's a top-tier fighter designed to dominate the skies, but it's also an absolute powerhouse for ground attacks. We're talking about incredible speed, advanced tech, and the ability to operate in pretty much any weather. When you bring an F-15 to the fight, you are signaling that this is a very high-tech, very high-stakes operation.
And this brings us to a really important idea. The choice of tool reveals the intent. I mean, think about it. Showing up with an F-15 sends a totally different message than, say, using a drone or sending in soldiers on the ground. The hardware itself is a huge part of the story.
Okay, so we've got the who and the what. Now, let's look at the action. What are they actually doing? The verbs in these headlines, let me tell you, they are chosen very, very carefully.
The first verb we run into is deployed. Now, this doesn't just mean moved. In military speak, this word carries a lot more weight than that.
See, deployment is all about strategy. It's not just moving pieces on a board. It's putting them in the perfect position to make a specific move. It signals preparation, readiness, and a clear intent. The action might not have even started yet, but the pieces are already set.
So what is this planned operation? The headline calls it a precision strike. That's another one of those very specific military terms. So let's break that down. What does that actually mean?
A precision strike is kind of what it sounds like. Instead of a wide sweeping attack, think of a sledgehammer. A precision strike is more like a surgical operation. It's a scalpel. The whole goal is to hit a single, very specific target. The term itself is designed to communicate control and a desire to limit collateral damage. It's language that projects accuracy and deliberation.
All right, so we have the actors, the tool, and the action. Now for the final piece of our puzzle, the target. Where's all this happening, and who or what is on the receiving end?
The headline specifies Hamas targets. And this is another one of those crucial distinctions. It doesn't say it's an attack on Hamas as a whole organization. That little word, targets, reframes everything. It turns a broad entity into a list of specific actionable objectives.
So, in military language, a target isn't just a random spot on the map. It's a very specific location, a piece of equipment, or even an individual that intelligence has identified as being strategically important. This implies there's been a formal process, that something has been officially designated for attack. This is what the precision in precision strike is actually aimed at. And finally, the location, in the Gaza Strip. This little phrase acts like a frame for the whole picture. It draws a very clear geographical boundary and confines the entire event to a specific area of operations. Okay, so we've looked at all the pieces. We have the actors, the tool, the action, and the target. Now, let's click them all back into place and read that headline one more time, but with our new understanding.
So let's read it again. The United States and Israel, that's the alliance, have strategically positioned, that's deployed, their advanced F-15 fighter jets, the high-tech tool. Their purpose? To conduct focused, surgical attacks, those are the precision strikes, against specific, intelligence-identified objectives, the Hamas targets, all happening within the clearly defined borders of the Gaza Strip. See the difference? The words haven't changed at all, but now we understand the story they're actually telling.
And hey, this isn't just about this one headline. This is a framework you can use for any story you read.
1. Identify the actors. 2. Understand the tools. 3. Define the action. And 4. Pinpoint the target. It's a pretty simple toolkit for looking past the words on the screen and seeing the strategy underneath.
Just think about that. All of it. The alliance, the technology, the strategy, the exact location, it was all packed into just one single sentence. It really shows you that a headline isn't just a summary. It's a carefully constructed narrative, if you know how to read it.
So the next time you're scrolling and a headline like this flashes by, just pause for a second. Don't just read the words, deconstruct them. Ask these questions, because once you understand the language being used to frame an event, you get one step closer to understanding the event itself. So, now that you can decode the words on the page, how does it change what you read between the lines?